Hello everyone, this is Tuba Mirza and welcome to Recoding. All the code used inside this video are mentioned inside the description box.
In this video today, we will build a to-do application which is a React app based on Gemini Flash 2.0 model. Google recently launched a new version of their Gemini model called Gemini 2.0. These new models have bigger context windows and reasoning capabilities. So let's now focus on our video and see what we are going to learn today. We will learn how to build a smarter to-do application which will understand natural human input. For this feature, we are utilizing the capability of structured output of Gemini, which will provide the user input in a more refined way. We build the user interface using TailwindCSS with a more modularized approach. So if this thing interests you, please stay tuned in this video. Before we get ahead, let's check out our demo for the application. Our application is a simple to-do app with a user input bar where the user enters their items, date and location in a way more natural to human. Here we enter some items we want to add to our to-do list and press the add button. Then this request goes into Gemini where it gives the value in a more organized and structured way. So you can finally see how an application works. We hope you liked this video and learned something new today. Before we get ahead with this video, we highly recommend you to watch our previous video on integrating Gemini into the React app. We already set up our application with Tailwind. First, create a folder called page. Inside it, create a file, named it as to-do.jx. Then create a React page component inside it. Then export the component. Inside the function, add return statement where a div adds some following classes. As height of the div is according to display size, add flex and make the item center using justify and item classes. Inside that div, add some class of width, full and some padding and margin. Add an h1 tag inside it and add the following classes. Add the title as Gemini To-Do App. Now create a folder as components inside it, add a new file as to-do-input.jsx file which consists of the app's input and send button. Also create a to-do list.jsx file which will contain the items added to the app's to-do items. Create a React functional component in all these files we have just created. Inside the input file, inside return statement, add div tag. Inside it, add input tag and button. Inside the to-do list file, create a React functional component. Then inside the to-do.jsx file, add these files below the h1 tag. For storing the list of items in our application, we are using React State feature and storing that item inside an array in the form of an object. To do this, we need to create a React State component which will store to-dos variable and set to-dos variable as React useState and initialize it as empty array. To add the items from button inside the to-do input file, we need to create a function to handle to-do which will take a parameter of to-do and append inside the to-dos array. Now let's add some dummy date for our application, use React, use effect function and set the to-do array value to with some initial value. As you can see, that structure of a to-do should have an ID, is done for checking if task is done or not, a title, a date and a location. Now pass our handle add to-do function inside to-do input component. Inside To-Do input file requires a parameter from previous view as handle add to-do. Now inside the to-do list file similarly requires a to-dos list of item. Inside the list item file create a functional component. To make our application remember the state of the check mark, create a new React state called as isDone. Initiate the value from item value we are receiving from previous view. Inside the return statement, return the view. Create a div inside it, add a list tag and add a paragraph tag. Inside the paragraph tag, type the title part of task. Then inside the div add the date and location part of the task. Then inside the to-do.jsx file, type the to-do list component inside it and provide the list of items. Inside the app.js file, type the to-do item inside it. Inside the to-do list.jsx file, show the list item we added inside the array. And for each of the item component, we are going to show list item component which we have built earlier. Now you can check that the to-do list appears. Now inside the app.js file, type some style classes. Here we can see that our application has started taking its shape. Inside the to-do.jsx file, add some style of background color, some corner radius, and some padding and margin. Now let's focus on building our to-do input components. Add some state inside it as input text and set input test which initialize as an empty string value. Then for handling the input from the form field, add the function called as handle input change. Here we just set the input test as the value of the target input part. Inside the input tag, add the value and onChangeValue function where we provide the function we just created. Create another function called handleSubmit which will handle the connection between the user input and Gemini. Currently for the demo purpose, we just call handleToDo function which we pass from the subsequent view and add the value. Inside the handle, add to-do function which takes the structure in the form of an object which will take certain values include ID, title, isDone, date and location. Add the handleSubmit function inside button. Now let's check out how the app is working now. Here we can see that the app is working just fine, and now we can add the task super easily. But here we forgot to add the set text input value to the empty string. Now let's add some style inside the list item file. Create a div inside it at the title. Create an input which will act as a checkbox and will be able to change the value if the task is done or not. Add the title inside a paragraph tag. And add some styling, that is the value of is done to true. We will show a strike through the text, and if not, we will hide the line. Create a function to handle the checkbox status. Change called as handle checkbox change function, which just changes the value of the setID done value. Add the function inside the input tag. Add some styling to the date. As make the text small, add the background color to yellow and add some corner radius. And for the location part, add it inside the div part, add text as small, change the font and add background color and some corner radius. Add some flex and gap inside the main div. Here we can see that our application now looks great. Inside the to-do input file, add some classes. Inside the main div, add flex class. Inside the input tag, add some class as corner radius. With full text as gray, add text size large. Add some padding and margin. Add some placeholder for input text. Add some style to button for adding task. Import the Google Generative AI and also import the schema. For key of AI API, we have saved the value inside the env file. Here you can see that we need to add React App Gemini key and after equal sign add your API key. Then set the key value as the env key. Then initiate the Google Generative AI class by adding the key part. For receiving our task in a certain order, we need to tell the LLM model that we want to receive the value in a certain manner. The schema part first will take the description. Then we provide the way we want to receive the type. We want to receive here, we are targeting value to return in the form of an array. Then inside the item object, add our item for task we need from the LLM. Add the value of ID as number, which should be unique. Then add some description and set null value to false. As this is not current method of creating ID, as LLM might return same ID because there is no memory of chat after an older chat. We are just showing the possibility, but you should use a unique number creator library for this. Set the value of the title as string and some description. Add the part of the date part. Add the part of location. Finally, we have to tell the LLM to return the value of the ID and title. After setting up the schema, now we choose the model we are going to use for this application. We are using Gemini 2.0 Flash model and provide a schema value inside configuration. After setting up the model, we can now work on handle submit function where we use try catch block. Inside try block, we send message to Gemini using model.generateContent function and provide input text. Then wait for the response. After getting the response value, we remove the square bracket from the ends and then parse it as JSON, as this by default the return statement we get from the server. Then we put a handle function inside the try block. Then handle the functionality of catch function. For the handle add to do function, we can just add the value we get from the parsed JSON object inside their subsequent values. Now let's test our application in the real world. Here we can see that our application is working just fine. So that's all for today. We really hope that you liked this video and think of building something amazing out of it. Please do share what you think you could build after learning from this video in the comment section.
And yes, let us know what you liked or disliked about this video in the comment section. Please do like and subscribe to our channel. And yes, do not forget to suggest some more topics. For now, I'll be signing off. We'll definitely see you all in the next video.